Hi guys, today I decide to share some information regarding my kayak. As you can see, this is a Lure 10 V2. As you know, this kayak, it doesn't have any transtom original and there is no way to attach electric motor. That's why I decide to create this mounting bracket, and I want to share the information with you. So this is a part that I purchased from Home Depot. It's aluminum, L shape. I will have more information, so if you decide to do this modification, you can buy the part directly without chasing any information. Okay, so I cut it in half and I mounted over the original rail over here. This one, it's iron. I wish I have another aluminum L shape, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find stronger. Maybe in the future, if I find another one, I can replace this one. So this is the original connections for the handle. Okay, this is the original connection for the ruler, and this is the cables that's supposed to control the ruler. Okay, to make this work, as you can see, here's the cable. It's coming from there, and if I have the cable straight out, it's gonna touch the plastic here, and with the time this will going to damage the kayak. So that's why I decide to do this bracket. As you can see from the top, there is an aluminum spacer between, and this is just a roller. So when I turn, okay, I'm doing this on one hand, it's gonna be a little difficult. Okay, here you go. So when I turn, this is acting as a bearing. Okay, this is a spacer that holds this one to this, and of course the boat. There is a little pipe in between here in the plastic, and if you doing this modification, be careful, do not over tie. You're gonna damage probably the plastic, so that's why you need a spacer inside, and make sure not over tying. Okay, so how I mentioned, this is the original connection, and this original connection inside there is a brass kind of nut, probably is bigger like a washer, that is already mounted to the plastic, and it is really strong. You can lift the entire kayak only with this handle. Okay, as you can see, this it's kinda curvy and it's not flat. I have these big washers left over from a different project. They're aluminum and they're perfectly laying over the kayak. The only thing that I did, I grind the corners to make them curvy. You can see this one from here and this one. Okay, this is important. If you have a flat washers, you may be going to damage the plastic. That's why it must be curvy. Okay, on this side you're gonna see this spacer is a little bit smaller than this one. This is because there is a little difference in the molding in the kayak. So at the moment when they made the kayak excuse me, this part is not that deep as this one, and don't forget, when I did the tramstone, I'm following the existing dimensions of on the kayak. I'm not modifying the kayak. If I have the same bigger spacer on this side, I will create a lot of pressure over here on the plastic. Or if I have the smaller spacer on this side, I will create a lot of pressure here. So that's why I decided to follow the plastic. I don't care, this is a little bit smaller than this one. As long as they're working, I'm good. So, 2 rollers, no damage here, strong support here. I have 2 connections underneath. I will have some pictures. As you can see, this is a flat bar. It's a double on this side and double here. Okay. So here's another spacer from inside, and here is another spacer too. So we'll have some pictures showing at the moment when I create all of these, and I hope this is going to be helpful for you. Okay, so another important thing that I want to mention is when I have this one done, this support and this one, I have to make sure the tramstone is parallel to the kayak. Okay, doing the measurements, I find out that there is a little difference between this corner measuring up to here or here or here, and opposite from here to this side, and over there. So for me, the mode, it's not perfectly 100% left and right. So to do it correctly, before completely mounting everything, you have to have this one connected first. Do some measurements. You can go from even from this corner or any corner, any point that you decide to use, all the way up to here, from here up to here, and verify this information one more time from here all the way down to here, and from here all the way down to here. So don't forget, do diagonals to here. When you find where is the exact correct position, then you can start working on this one. You can tie them up correctly, and this is going to be straight. It's going to be parallel to the kayak. Okay, so what else? Yes, so you have to do at least 2 connections here. This is important. If you do only one and one here, one here and one here, this is gonna act as it's going to start twisting. It's gonna act like a ruler. To prevent this one, you have to have at least 2 connections here, one here, or 2 here, one here. I decide to go with 2 here and 2. Okay. Here is one mistake that I made, and I'm going to advise you to do not make my mistake. I cut this from 2x4. I mount it, but at the moment when I drill the hose, I didn't realize how wide is the connector on the electrical motor. The idea was to have the nut inside and flat bolt head outside. But since the space over here is too short right now, I decided to flip it over and have the nuts outside. I can cut this one definitely, but with the time this is going to start rusting. Maybe with the time I'm going to replace with another bolt. Okay, There is another information about these connectors here, and I will probably do a separate video showing how I did it. It is original connection, and I'm also using it over here for the electrical motor controller. There is a kind of flat washer. Okay, so this is the connector that I'm talking about, but the bolt is not the original. Believe it or not, this is coming from a toilet. Yes, this is the bolt that you connect the toilet to the floor. I only cut it. Same thing over here. I have the same bolts here. The downside of this is that they're going to rust with the time. So I have to apply a little drop of paint over here to cover and prevent from rusting. The original bolts, you can buy the original, that's fine. They're kind of expensive, but definitely they will fit better. I will have information about these connectors, so you can purchase them from Amazon. Okay, so far so good. Okay, as you can see, this is the cables that control the electric motor. Okay, here is what I did here. Okay, this is the original pedals that came over with the kayak. I only removed, there was a stopper, orange red stopper that goes kind of over here, and I locked the pedal in a different position. Okay, so the way how I did this one is, you can see over here on top there is a little stopper that holds this one. Underneath you're gonna find one more of these. So I shave one of these to be able to take down this, to slide it over, and to take down the pedal. When you remove the pedal from the rail, you're gonna be able to remove the stopper. This is important. Okay, another thing. As you can see, this one guide the cable. Okay, if you don't have this one, the cable is gonna be all over. Make sure when you drill, okay, stay to the center, otherwise there is no room underneath for the nut. Okay, see how I drilled the hole in the pedal? It's kind of under angle. Okay, and I have a washer, nut, and another washer. The whole idea is, see how bigger is the washer. I couldn't find with a small hole. If I have a washer with a small hole, I will not have the nut and this spacer here. It's gonna be straight. The cable is gonna lay straight over the washer. Okay, this is a stopper. Okay, I have one more over here, so when I push the pedal, this is going to restrict it. Okay, and of course this one too. Here's another little thing that I did. I mount my solar watch here. Okay, so now I'm going to attach the electric motor. I'm going to probably split the video in 2, maybe 3 parts. I want to cover the electric motor, the way how I tilt the motor, all the connections, cables, and of course I'm going to show the electrical part too. I'm using a good battery. I have a solar panels mounted, so many other things that probably is going to be really interesting for you. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the video here and I'm gonna do a second part.